fresh slate. How excited are you to get this season going?
Extremely. I mean, after last year in the off season, it's just one of those things you want to get on a good note, and everybody's excited after the carryover, and we're all super pumped to be done with spring training and get going for good.
Spring training obviously just wrapped up, as you said. How would you describe that time for you? I know, obviously in Pawtucket, but did you feel you really grew?
Yeah, I mean, I had a good spring. I felt like I figured some things out at the end of camp that I needed to right there at the end. We had such a good group of guys. We had a ton of fun, and it was one of the best run camps I've been in my 10 years of spring training. So it was definitely a good camp, but like any camp, I was ready for it to be over, and we're ready to play some games.
You've obviously had experience with John Farrell, and Farrell coming back into the picture last year after being gone for a little bit, but instantly turns that team around. They win the World Series. What is it about John Farrell? Because obviously it didn't work with Bobby Valentine.
I think it obviously has a lot to do with your manager, but I think it had probably more to do with the group of guys in the clubhouse, and I think he would tell you that. I think that John's a brilliant baseball mind, and he surrounded himself with brilliant baseball minds, and I think that was the best thing he did, was getting the guys around him, and we're all on the same page. And then as far as that goes, I mean, you look at that lineup and you look at the team camaraderie, and I think they kind of manage themselves, and John would tell you that he kind of got to sit back and watch it more than anything. But he definitely deserves his credit, but that group of guys carried themselves.
It's tough to repeat in any sport as champion. Baseball, 162 games plus the postseason. Red Sox are basically the same team, though, with maybe a few improvements. Should they be the favorites?
I mean, I don't see why not, but again, it's baseball. It's a long year, and a lot of things can happen. Just like last year, we were very fortunate to stay away from some injuries. We had some big ones, but guys stepped up, and that's the key to the game, is just having everybody stay healthy. And I think in the years past, with guys trying to repeat, that's the problem, is that guys play so long that next thing you know, guys are getting hurt because they're playing more games and everything else. So I think it's going to come down to that, and making sure that the young guys like Bogey, that get on the right foot and do what they're capable of.
What's your impression been of Xander Bogaerts? Obviously, he came in and really dominated, did so well in the World Series and the playoffs too. The Red Sox really have not had that lockdown shortstop since Nomar, and everyone, of course, is saying this guy is going to be the one. Do you agree with that?
I think that you've only seen the tip of the iceberg with Bogey. I think that with how good that he's shown, how good everybody thinks he is, I think he's a much better player than he's showing right now even. He's a better kid. He's about as good as a person as you could probably mold. So everybody loves him. He's a great dude, and he's going to be one heck of a baseball player. And again, I say that, and everybody's like, well, he is a good baseball player, but the thing is, he's going to be a lot better too. So they're going to give him some time to grow, and he's going to be a big piece of this for a long time.
Someone else who's drawn high praise is obviously Jackie Bradley Jr., and he may be bouncing back and forth this year depending on how Shane Victorino's health is, all that. And he's someone who's kind of not gone the other way, but he's struggled. He's struggled in his time with the Red Sox. I mean, have you, from what you've known and what you know of him, has that gotten to him? Is he feeling the pressure right now, or is it just a case where Dustin Pedroia did the same thing for a couple months and then just took off?
Yeah, I mean, I think with Jackie, he's a young player. You call somebody up out of high A or wherever he was when he first got called up, and all of a sudden makes a team out of camp, and there's all this expectation. And the thing about it was, if it wasn't such a big season last year, it would have gone under the wayside, and he would have had a lot more opportunities to fail, and it probably would have worked itself out. But when you're in first place and all of a sudden it's a big turnaround and we're in the middle of winning a World Series, it's hard to give a guy that needs it a time to fail, and that's probably a big piece of it. So I don't think that it's going to bother him. He's a very confident guy, and I think that he's a good player. So once he gets his feet back under him, I think he'll be fine.
Last question. What are you hoping to get out of this stint with Pawtucket? Is it ultimately the end goal of just being back up in Boston, being a regular, either an everyday player or a regular reserve?
I mean, obviously, this is my 5th year in AAA, so I'm definitely not trying to play in AAA. But, the end goal for me is to be able to help an organization win another championship. I mean, I felt like that last year, seeing what it took and seeing how my at-bats and Brock Holt's at-bats and Jackie's at-bats and Xander, the guys that have to come up and fill roles, how important that is, and I want to be a piece of that. And, my goal is to be an everyday big league player or a Johnny Gomes bench guy that can go up there and get big hits and you're not going to do that without putting together a good resume. So just got to play well and keep working hard and see what happens.
You also need a good Stars and Stripes blazer to be Johnny Gomes.
Yeah, that's true.